Now you've probably already sown a lot of your seeds through February, March and April, but some of the things which we can sow in March and April are best waiting until a little bit later sometimes. Just like this year, we've had quite a cold spring, we've had quite a lot of cold weather in April, so we have struggled to get things to germinate. So I think some of the things in this list, as I said, could have been sown in April, but sometimes it's better to wait until May. So before I get into the video, I would just like to introduce myself to those who are new to the channel. My name is James and this is my allotment where I share my gardening tips, advice and knowledge that I have really, and I hope that I can learn some new things off you as well. And also, if you like the video, remember to hit that like button because it really helps out a lot. Now with all that being said, let's get into my list of things that you can sow in the month of May. Now sadly, May is a little bit late to start sowing things such as tomatoes and peppers. You can get away with sowing them a little bit earlier in May, but you are going to be getting a late crop of tomatoes if you're sowing them in May, to be honest, unless you live in a really, really mild climate. But here in the UK, northern UK, our growing season is quite short anyway, so sowing peppers and tomatoes in May, it's just a little bit too late for us really. So you're actually best really going to the garden centre in May and buying some starts, some plants that are already growing, to be honest, if you are starting tomatoes and peppers in May. Starting off our list, we've got some things that you can sow in April, which sometimes it is actually better to wait until May or even June with some of them. So first we've got runner beans, Scarlet Emperor. I've sown a couple of different varieties of runner beans. I've sown some Scarlet Emperors, which we have here, and I've sown some white Emergo as well. Now I've also sown some other beans. I've sown some Blue Hill and I've sown some Climbing French Bean Blue Lake. So most beans you can sow, well all beans you can sow in May. But because we've had quite a lot of cold weather in April, they have been very slow to get going. So in some cases, starting off beans in May or even June is probably going to, it's not going to be much different from sowing them in April because of the cold weather. They're going to be growing very slow anyway. So beans is the first thing which you can sow in May. Now the second thing, another thing which in some cases is better waiting for really to sow in May or June because they are quite fast growing and with cold weather they're not really going to germinate. And those things are courgettes and other members of the cucurbit family, like pumpkins and squashes. Courgettes grow incredibly fast in May and June, so sometimes you're better just waiting a little bit longer to get them sown. So I've already sown my courgettes, my squashes and my pumpkins, but I am going to be sowing some more pumpkins. I've got a variety here called Marquis de Provence, which is a really nice eating pumpkin. I'm going to be sowing some more of them this month. All my pumpkins have had to be moved home, and my squashes and my courgettes, because they just weren't germinating in the greenhouse. So they're going to be staying at home probably till the end of this month at least. So cucurbit, squashes and pumpkins can be sown in May. Now our next thing is also another thing which you can really wait for, to be honest, to get sown, and that is sweet corn. As with the courgettes and the pumpkins and all that stuff, these didn't get going when I sowed these earlier in April, so I actually had to sow another lot. So again, it is best sometimes to just wait a little bit longer. So May is a really good month to sow your sweet corn. Okay, moving on, we've got some more brassicas which we're going to be sowing. We're going to be doing a second sowing of some brassicas. So we've got some broccoli which we're going to be sowing more of. This variety is called Marathon, which is a variety which is slow to bolt. It's it's a really nice variety, that. And we've got some more cabbages, Golden Acre Primo 2, which is a really nice, reliable gardener's favourite. I found it just always gives you a good crop, and it's really easy to grow as well. So some more brassicas. We've already got a few of these, a few broccolis and cabbages and stuff like that outside, but I'm going to be doing a second sowing so that I've got more to replace them to give me a crop later on when them ones are finished. So successional sowing does take a little bit of practice and getting used to, and I'm not perfect at it, to be honest. I'm still learning, but I'm trying my best. So we've also got our next one, which is Swede. I've not sown any of these yet. I'm just sowing these now. Another brassica, and these are a really good one to start in May. So this variety is called Tweed F1. So next up, we've got some more leafy greens which we're going to be sowing. We're going to be sowing another lot of this mixed lettuces here, mixed varieties of lettuce. We've got these outside now, our sowing from February, and these have been giving us some nice pickings these past week, and I expect them to be doing that until around June, July, when they'll probably bolt, by which then we'll have these, which we're sowing now, to go out and replace them. Although I'll probably have to shade them from the hot weather because lettuce is quite prone to bolting in the middle of the summer when it's hot. So that's that. I've got some more leafy greens here, which I'm going to be sowing as well. I've got some spinach, some perpetual spinach, and we've got an F1 variety called Amelia. So yeah, we're going to be sowing those this month for some pickings throughout early summer. So the next thing which we're going to be sowing this month, we're going to be sowing more of, is beetroot. This is a really good one to successional sow throughout the season. But you can sow these every month really, from March through, well, February really, right through till July, and you'll get a steady harvest throughout the season. I'm also going to be sowing some more radishes. We've got some out here which are nearly ready now, actually. They're getting to quite a good size. But this variety is called French Breakfast, and we're going to be sowing some more of them. Very, very fast crop radish. You know, from sowing till harvest, it's around about a month. It's very, very fast. And we're also going to be throwing in a few more carrots as well. We've got some rainbow carrots out here, direct sown. But we're going to try planting a few in between the onions outside. It's a little experiment to see if the onions can deter the carrot root fly. We're going to see if we can get away with not netting them over. So I've got loads of onions outside. So in the rows in between them, in between the onions, I'm going to be sowing some carrots to see what happens. And if you really like your peas, then peas are a really good one which you can sow as well in May. This is sort of the last month really you can sow them because they do prefer cooler weather. So if you are sowing them quite late, you're probably going to want to shade them from the hot weather. And we are trying something new this year. Well, we're trying quite a few things new this year, but we're actually trying to grow some melons, which, you know, I did try sowing. I think last year I sowed one, and it didn't really do much, to be honest. But we're going to try, and we're going to give it a good go this year and see what happens. This variety is called Malaga. This variety is called Malaga, and it's supposed to be a really productive melon. So fingers crossed we can get some of these. I know they're not the easiest thing to grow, melons, especially in the UK, but I do have 2 polytunnels and 2 greenhouses, so hopefully I'll have space. But there again, our tomatoes are going to be taking up a lot of that room in the greenhouses. So that was some of the things that you can sow in May, and the things that I'm going to be sowing. Some of them, I'm going to be sowing some of these this month. So I do hope you enjoy the video, and if you did, then remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you can see when I upload new content just like this. I hope to see you in the next video. Stay safe and happy gardening. And remember guys, Saturday the 6th of May is World Naked Gardeners Day. Comment below if you're going to be taking part. I'm going to be taking part, and a video will be going up later this week of me taking part in World Naked Gardeners Day, so keep a lookout for that. It's a traditional thing that happens the first Saturday of May every single year. I took part in it last year. Didn't do a video though, I just took a picture of me in the polytunnel. But yeah, this year I'm going to be doing a video.